All right, folks, the Flynn case. There is a stunning piece at foxnews.com. You know, I know we say it a lot. Please read this, but I may have to beg. If I could get in front, there's a table in front of me right here. If I could get down and genuflect on a knee here and beg you to read this, I please need you to read this piece at foxnews.com. It'll be in my show notes today. Bongino.com/newsletters, the website. You can subscribe to the show notes. It's free. We're not going to spam your inbox. I email you these show notes and these articles every day. This one is a must read, please. Or just go to Fox News Direct if you don't want to subscribe. That's fine. Here's the article. It's by the great Greg Ree, who does terrific work. Flynn bombshells cast doubt on Mueller prosecutor Brandon von Grack's compliance with the court order. What the Mueller team did to Mike Flynn to cover up the attack on this American patriot is unbelievable. And I'm going to ask the question now, and I'm going to ask again, like I asked of Governor Abbott, why hasn't this woman been pardoned yet, Shelley Luther? Why is Bob Mueller's team not under a full federal investigation right now? Let's walk through the evidence. So who is Van Grack? Who's Mueller? Who's Flynn? Quick primer, Mike Flynn, obviously three-star general, Trump's national security advisor, targeted in a perjury trap by the FBI. Bob Mueller, special counsel appointed by the Department of Justice to investigate the fake Russian collusion hoax. He's not really there to investigate the collusion hoax, Bob Mueller, because he knows it's a hoax when he's appointed in May of 2017. Bob Mueller is there to set up an obstruction of justice trap for the Trump administration. That's his only purpose and his team. We good? I know liberals are like, that's not what, I'm not interested. I'm just telling you the truth, okay? Bob Mueller's team is not there to investigate Russian collusion. He knows in 2017 it's a hoax. He knows it because in January of 2017, the primary source of the Russian collusion narrative, Steele sources are interviewed by the FBI who tell them it's a hoax. Mueller knows this. He is only there to set up an obstruction of justice trap for Trump, to constantly poke Trump, interview his people, arrest Papadopoulos, arrest Roger Stone, arrest Michael Cohen, and to get Trump to fire people on the team and do other things, which I'll be honest with you, I thought he should have done early and gotten rid of Mueller. Now you see why. Because Mueller's team was clearly corrupt, and then they were going to charge Trump after this with obstruction of justice. 100% that's Mueller's purpose. Brandon von Grack, is one of Mueller's prosecutors who has I want to keep it family friendly, for Mike Flynn. He has a strange attraction to Mike Flynn here. Bizarre. What we would call an unusual interest case in the Secret Service. Unusual interest meaning, why are you sending all these letters to this particular? Why are you so unusually interested in Mike Flynn? Van Grack. Legally speaking, of course. Why? Because they wanted to shut Flynn up. Let's walk through this one by one because this is absolutely devastating. From the Fox News piece about, again, what the Mueller team, Van Grack is on Mueller's team, did to him. There was a court order issued to the Mueller team. You have to provide Mike Flynn with any materials relevant to his defense. This is a standard order. It's called Brady material. You can't prosecute anyone in the federal system without turning over evidence that may indicate their innocence. It's unethical and illegal. So the order, this is what they're talking about from the Fox News piece. The order also requires the government to submit favorable defense evidence to the court, including possible impeachment evidence, not talking about presidential impeachment, that could undermine witnesses even if the government believes the evidence not to be material. Can I come back to this in a second? Come back. Just I want to be clear. Van Grack, who works for Mueller, Judge Sullivan is the judge in the Mike Flynn case. They're prosecuting him for a fake perjury charge. He did not lie to the FBI. Van Grack and Mueller know this because the FBI said he didn't lie. The judge says to them, standard practice in the beginning of the case, hey, Bob, you have to turn over any evidence, standard practice, that could indicate Mike Flynn is innocent or may impeach a witness's credibility. That's what they're talking about. Back to the piece, because this is important. Van Grack, again, working for Mueller, has long informed Sullivan, the judge, that the government's so-called Brady obligations, what I was just talking about, referring to prosecutors' duty to turn over exculpatory materials to defendants, have been met. They've been met. Keep this up here. Interesting. They've been met because all this new material continues to surface. These handwritten notes from the FBI about setting up Flynn. It goes on. In an October 2019 filing, Van Grack denied governmental misconduct and assured the court that the government has complied and will continue to comply with its discovery and disclosure obligations, including those imposed pursuant to Brady and the court's standing order. You're tracking me here, right? I hope. So Van Grack, working for Mueller, says, no, we don't have any evidence indicating Flynn's guilty that we should have turned over to the lawyers. We don't have anything else. This is in October of 2019. Yet suspiciously, all of these notes from the FBI about how do we approach this? Do we set up Flynn for perjury? Just surfaced recently. But Van Grack put his John Hancock, his signature, saying, no, we've complied with the Brady material. We've given you everything, but you haven't. Oh, it gets worse. So you were hiding things? Where, Christopher Wray in the FBI, where the hell are you again? This guy's going to turn out to be the third worst director of the FBI. Seriously, after Comey, and maybe we'll throw another one in there. We'll give him a pass for now, give him just a bronze medal as the worst director of the FBI in modern history. It gets worse. Van Grack, again, working for Mueller, from the Fox News piece. We're going to go back to this Fox News piece too later. Van Grack argued to Sullivan that Flynn's conduct and communication with Russia went to the heart of that inquiry, talking about the interview at the White House. And Van Grack said that Flynn's alleged false statements to the FBI in the January 24, 2017 interview were absolutely material. The heart of the inquiry. But Greg Reed from the Fox News beat goes on. So just to be crystal clear here, what they're saying, Mueller's team is now suggesting that they interviewed Flynn at the White House because they were interviewing him about this Russian collusion hoax they know is a hoax, because the FBI's already interviewed the subsource and knows that all the material from the subsource is fake. So Van Grack is now arguing, no, we had to interview Flynn because we had to get to the heart of the Russian collusion thing. But as Greg Reed says in the Fox News feed, by that time, the FBI had already cleared Flynn of any improper ties, coordination, or communication with Russia. Just a day before the interview with Flynn at the White House, the Washington Post ran a story we covered earlier in the week, declaring that the FBI had reviewed Flynn's calls with the Russian ambassador and found nothing illicit. So now Van Grack has lied about producing all the materials relevant to Flynn's defense. They hadn't. We're just getting them now. FBI notes. Do we set him up for perjury or do we screw him on the Logan Act? Kind of material, no? I'm just saying. Now Van Grack is suggesting too that, no, they had to conduct the interview of Flynn at the White House about his call with Kislyak because it was material. It was the heart of the inquiry into the Russian collusion thing, which is bizarre because on January 4th, there's an internal FBI communication just discovered. I thought Van Grack said in October there was no more material. Just discovered, by the way, suggesting that he had been cleared, Flynn, and there was no derogatory information from him on Russia. I thought it was the, quote, heart of the inquiry. I thought it was material to the Russia probe. You mean the Russia probe you already concluded, Flynn, there was no derogatory information and he had no role in?
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud and follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.